All right.
It is 6:30.
6:30. Okay. Call to order. Pledge of allegiance.
Pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
I don't really have any supervisor remarks, so approval of agenda, please.
We can't change the agenda.
Yeah, we can. So both doesn't approve it, I think. So,
I would move that we approve the agenda.
Second.
okay, any discussion? Okay, all in favor? Aye. Opposed? Not hearing any? Okay. Call to public.
Good evening, Peter Stevens, 7500 Trotters Lane. So it's been many, many years now that you guys have been after Cottonwood Farm. Initially it was for animals on less than 5 acres, which this board had to make a motion and pass an ordinance revision to argue, stating that road right-of-ways no longer count towards net acreage for them. Now they're being sued for 2 other issues since they won their right to farm case and appeal. It sounds, or I am told that you are suing them now for multiple residences on a plot, and also suing them to claim that they are not a business. The second claim about not being a business, I think, is folly for the township to argue. You had representatives from MDARD and Michigan State tell you that if you sell a dozen eggs, you can count that as farm business. I don't believe that you, as a board, want to try and change that kind of policy for the entire state of Michigan. As to the first count of multiple residences on one plot of land, that farmstead has, for decades and decades, had multiple people living in those houses on that one plot of land. Mae Mask's grandchildren, after she retired and eventually passed, many of them lived on that property for many, many years, even up until recently. To now claim that that property, which I'm hoping you can all recognize under current ordinance would be unsplittable for any of those residences, is again folly to just try and claim that they wouldn't be grandfathered in under some kind of use with multiple people having been living on that property for decades and decades. So again, as you go into closed session, I would just advocate that you stop spending money on this, you stop attacking these individuals that I've never heard anything but support for in the community. And I would just ask that you somehow settle this and forego continuing litigation against them. Thank you.
Thanks, Peter. Anyone else?
Erica Tuttle, 7535 Walsh Road. Peter did a great job of sort of summing up the things that I had to say. I talked to the board before the first lawsuit was brought and expressed my belief that you would lose, that it would cost a lot of money, that they had a right to do what they were doing, and I've never been behind the board's actions with regard to what I consider to be harassment of our neighbors. The first 3 violations that were sent to them, 2 of them were completely bogus. In fact, the township is currently violating itself. One of the violations that were sent to Cottonwood Farm with regard to the dumpsters out back. Then the Right to Farm Act case has had 2 trials and an appeal. Not exactly sure what's going on with it right now, but if they lose at the trial court, it'll be another appeal, and on it goes. And then this last one, the former supervisor threatened this action, and I use that word intentionally. He threatened grandfather use action against the Cottonwood before the Right to Farm Act case was even brought, and acknowledged that the property was grandfathered, but just didn't think that they could have that many residences. Not that they couldn't have residences, just not that many. And I don't know exactly how this case was dredged up, but there are a few facts about it that I find extremely disturbing. We're all aware of the fact that families live over there. There are children, babies, pregnant women. Through your attorneys, you gave them 1 week to move in February. I just think that's wanton, careless harassment, and I don't know how you justify it, but I would really like it all to stop. I don't think it's right the way you're treating them. And I want to bring up Peter's point again, that you have not treated any other owners of this property this way. And I think that's an equal protection violation. And I don't know if it's because the township wants this property for the Historical Society. I don't know what's driving it, but I don't want any of my neighbors to be treated this way, and I don't want any more money spent on this harassment.
Thank you. Anyone else?
Hello, I'm Sheila Blakowski, 2522 North Territorial. I don't like public speaking, so I'm sorry if I don't look at you. I'll do better speaking. Looking over here. I don't know very much about the whole thing. I'm still learning a lot about what's going on. But what I have been hearing, I don't like. I don't like people being harassed. I almost thought maybe there was some racism going on. We're all human beings, and we need to live somewhere. And we need more kindness. We need more kindness. So I ask you guys to be a little bit more kind. Figure out a way to work this out. Stop spending their money on all this attorney shit, okay? Thank you.
Thank you. Anyone else? Okay, not hearing any comments. Oh, sorry, board response to public.
I would just like to say thank you for exercising your right of free speech. I heard a lot of comments that were factually erroneous, but I appreciate you expressing yourself.
Okay, let's see. All right, I would like a motion to enter closed session.
I do. I would like to move to enter closed session at 6:40 p.m. under MCL 15.2681E to consult with our attorneys regarding trial or settlement strategy in connection with specific pending litigation, the Webster Township versus Morningstar Ventures, LLC, number 23B000008ON, pending in the 14th A3 District Court for the County of Washtenaw, and Webster Township versus Morningstar Ventures, LLC, number 000065-CZ, pending in the Washtenaw County Circuit Court, because doing so in an open meeting would have a detrimental financial effect on the litigating or settlement position of the township.
I'll support.
Okay, any discussion? This is a roll call, so Jeff.
Aye.
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 We will go that way. Everything else carried.
He was elected.
Well, this is their second
Yeah.
lawsuit. They're not done with the animal one now. This is
Then,
the type.
like I said,
So it's like, okay, if your one isn't going anywhere.
yeah, that's
And now you're
that's
done
what
with
they're
the
saying,
second one.
that's the only thing.
Which doesn't expect you to like, oh, sorry, we'll demolish your house. So that's like,
But
what?
That's what
It's
that's
just like,
what
okay,
it
why
is,
are
but
you like
it's
chasing
all the
so
other
much,
things.
you know, like an inch of the current landlord and stuff like, we want to be good neighbors. Like, we're together, we're following, you know, laws and rules and stuff, like, what is going on, so. Well, it probably doesn't help that we live so close to them. John Sharp, the treasurer, lives
Yeah.
across the road.
They said all residences were occupied, but, Kinsley definitely.
He definitely was behind the dumpster thing, which was one of the first complaints years ago. So,
Basically, your point was, you know, it was shocking.
Right, he is, yeah.
So it seems to be like a very good spot.
I don't agree with him on everything, so suddenly you're a bad actor.
It's still pending.
Did the township deal it again?
I didn't, did they get a
Because
ruling from the
they
judge?
want.
Yeah, but then it went back and they tried home. And as far as I know, that judge, she has a ruling
No,
that
it
has to be tried home.
Well, it's not, yeah, he probably told us that, but like,
Right, well, that's why they're having some. So if they were to lose that, they would absolutely.
really?
And again, Rick and I have
Yeah,
chatted
it's
about
like
this.
There's,
There's,
I hope that they're working for our encounter soon. That's what we're saying. That's what
Agricultural township.
Right.
Yeah, it's like, and in this economy, we need more of that, we need affordable, like, housing options that aren't just like lovely new things, like, that's a, right, it's like really in a housing affordability crisis, you're trying to kick small families, so I don't know if that's a lot.
Yeah, and
Like, really?
I thought-
Yes, we totally voted. That's what we want our tax dollars.
And I did one guy, and they converted like the whole school bus to a home. And I thought it was awesome. And you know, we can make like amazing buses now. And he had a family with a wife and a baby, and like, they were doing cool stuff. And I followed them on Instagram, and I thought they were living an amazing life. And to see them get kicked out, that was just so cool.
I'm really
But I
glad.
can't find the meetings that night, so I was with the night shift and I was even involved, and so I just, retired from my job, and so I'm like, now I can start
Now
getting
you
more
can-
involved in my community.
Yeah,
Start
New Year's resolution.
Yeah,
there you go.
The meetings, and I'm trying to learn about what's going on, and I try to talk every time I come here.
That's awesome.
Because I need to practice, because I'm going to the county meetings, I'm talking
Oh,
Yeah.
bitching about
We need more genuine people in the field.
Yeah.
Well, it's so little good faith nowadays.
I just tried to cut over 200 now in Chelsea on this amazing stretch of working road. A mile and a half stretch of trees that are like 300 years old, that line road, it's like so.
Like, truly, what is the matter?
Well, we think it was a wood grab, but they won't never admit that. And
Like,
so now they're denying they were ever going to cut them. And now it's only 42, we were never going to cut those. But
like, guys, think of number 42. Okay, 42.
so they were going to widen the road 8 feet on each side. And when you take a measuring tape, the trees are only 8 feet, so it's not rocket science.
Right.
So don't tell us that we're
Yeah.
spreading misinformation, because that's what this is. Please. And so there's constantly lying, constantly lying to the public. And we're trying to expose that.
I'm Jason.
Because I don't
It's like, they don't fill the potholes, but they do cut down the trees. It's great weeds.
They're destructive to the environment.
What's that?
They cut the
cottonwood?
trees down, and then
Yeah,
they
I'm not so
create ditches
sick.
because they have drainage
I'm just
problem
leaving
now,
progress.
so.
Yeah.
Because of the.
I mean, I come
It's
to all
like
these
staying water.
meetings.
Yeah,
So not even thinking about
So that's, so the residents of Chelsea filed a lawsuit against the road commission, and it was this week, and they lost.
Definitely.
The
nice wide open parcel of land for another data center to come in.
Well, she's one.
Okay, fair enough. That's always an excuse, isn't it? Yeah.
What do you guys vote?
One, I have seen in the last maybe 5 years of
I am
was an 11-year-old girl who gave
it's a
very
net
confident
negative
and well-expressed
in every
testimony
way possible.
to the board about her wanting to be able to raise chickens and why they should allow that. It was a really wonderful moment.
Problematic business.
And then watching up tonight, I guess.
I so agree with
I'm just trying to.
data centers specifically because that's an issue that is so, there's so much public backlash. And
So where did you say you were?
Like 90-10 public.
But then the officials are like, well, actually, yeah, you do want it actually. And it's like, no.
It's like Huron River and Chamberlain, it's basically right off of Chamberlain, which is just off the North Territory. It's like,
Oh, yeah.
it's like northwest.
I know what you're talking about. Okay, far out.
Just a year and a half.
Working in Ann Arbor, Lansing, Troy.
Just remotely, my spouse she works remotely, and it's enough for us to do it as watch her kid full time.
Okay, what's your background?
I'm an academic, unfortunately.
Anything particular?
In humanities.
Okay.
Yeah, it's.
And that's a word of trace too. People don't know what's going on and doing those.
Yeah.
Like there's no
Yeah.
informed consent anymore.
Nothing wrong with that, I don't care.
That's awesome.
I have a master's degree in social work, and a bachelor's in
That's like
social
you're gonna have
policy,
something.
but I had to be a farmer because it's got a lot.
Yeah, that's awesome.
Did he elect?
Yeah, I'm totally getting the, like, permaculture and everything, and trying to figure out, you know, what's allowed, and things like that.
Okay, how much land do you guys have over there?
Almost 3 years.
You certainly do a lot of gardening. Tomatoes, peppers, beans, squash. That's always good too. And yeah, I love advocating for more for farmers.
Somewhere not Washington County.
Just makes sense.
That doesn't make sense.
Permaculture is all about actually like design systems. So if you design your gardens in such a way, like using mostly perennial plants.
Right, because
It's small level.
You can cut your workload by like more than half. I mean,
Oh, I think I probably got about 8 total gardens. And then maybe a quarter acre vegetable garden. And a lot of it was great. Some
Well,
stuff I think.
someone should bring that up, like, maybe in a larger meeting, like, she does.
Well, I'm not
So is
very
this the first part?
She
and
doesn't
then
have
doing
Facebook.
the
I
second?
read that.
Well, so now that they've gone to closed session, they're talking to the attorney back there. They're gonna come out if they've made any kind of decision on settling or continuing.
I was about to say,
They have to give some kind of. Any decisions they plan
The
to
animal,
have to be.
yeah.
Oh,
that's-
and did they show how much they're, how many taxpayer dollars?
Strategy, they can discuss
Are they,
settlement options, but they can't say, okay, this is.
Yeah, I saw it.
so is that tracking the cost of taxpayers or something?
So they'll come out and say, well, like, we need some kind of motion for settlement.
Well, they increase.
I think the admins are gonna take one public comment. They'll have a period of comment, and then they'll call the meeting close.
Drastically increased for legals over the past 2 years.
They should, if they want to do this lawsuit that nobody else wants, or cares about, they should be doing it out of their pockets.
I'm sorry. I want to garden
There's
on my property.
In an agriculturally zoned place.
Agricultural zones.
That sounds so smart.
I'm sorry. You gotta let it. Right, if you want to complain about it, okay, but I shouldn't have to stop you. That's just my opinion.
Yeah, I mean, that seems like the zoning would back that up.
Well, there are lots of places in the township that are zoned agricultural, that are a suburb, essentially, you know, those little suburb areas. Right here on the border.
Sorry. Yeah.
It's all agricultural.
I have
It's
Facebook,
also
but I
all in
very
property.
like I use Messenger a lot, but I don't go on Facebook much. You know, every so often it's like, oh, a township thing's coming up, let me see
So,
what people
can
say.
you change that to
Yeah.
residential?
Right, right. Or rural.
Yeah, because I was the one that responded to your
Yeah.
And it seems like that's
question
sort of the
of
way
like
about
where
half of our
the
neighbors
so,
are.
as I recognized your name, so. Catherine Pedro. Yeah.
You know,
Yes.
and they're like, no, this is the country, housing country. And I'm like, okay.
How is not the country?
Or Stockbridge is the country. I'm like, okay, this is way different than our perception, so.
I mean,
This is not to say it's
because I'm on the township
If you
email
want to rezone it.
blast or whatever, and it was like, yeah, they sent
I
it.
would
Well,
say
sure.
Last minute.
I mean, a lot of that stuff
Okay.
is dictated by master plan,
Cancel my
which
ride.
is a new master plan, is not very common anyway, so you have to do it every so often by law. But at least in the last master plan, a lot of the discussion and what they've used for a lot of their decisions, at least what they've.
Yeah, it's to the animal one, I think.
Then a lot of residents still want to keep the resident or the
Because,
rural
yeah, Jason's
feel
not
of
aware
the
of this one.
The farm, the larger open space that shows that.
This giant, right now they're cutting trees.
Part of that's farming.
Presently.
So why are they going to
Again,
farm?
so bad for the environment.
Because they don't care.
I mean, I have my,
It's harder
I have my,
because it's giant.
It's just the man farmer.
what I see when you're suspicious. Well,
It's
so it's
harder
like,
right there.
it's
Too
like
much,
it's
too
adult.
visions.
So sad.
And,
I literally,
21
even when I see a DT
Same
trimming
story,
trees, I get
same-
sad.
So I know,
So,
I like Rose.
I think local control,
Nice.
which was a wonderful idea for a while.
That's good, that's what you know.
Has like many social.
And this was the
movements,
trees that the road commission wanted to cut, and we're
It is
gonna
now being
all these giants that they wrapped.
overused
Yeah.
by.
What, just making it fair and
They're
disgusting.
turning townships.
Yeah, and I am sure it's a lot of that is motivated because they want more answers.
Oh, it's all money.
It's cool if you have to pay them.
They're
for
literally
taking
hating
down property, yeah, they make more money that way.
right.
But that's also not their rule.
They have to
Right.
raise
So, yeah, it's just a question of like, okay, are we prioritizing, you know, capital, are we prioritizing the
Where is Avon? It's seriously, the environmental, Michigan's environmental.
Well, Trump just pretty much.
It's a tough call, right? Not necessarily on one side or the
Oh,
other.
not the national one, the Michigan one. Michigan has its, the state has its own like, environmental board. And I remember, so I was really angry with the other thing, because it was right by a kid's school.
I think that-
And it was going to drain their wells.
It
Their
is.
level. Yeah, yeah, and so I was looking, and the commission, I forget what it stands for.
Personal
I was reporting some Michigan politics just a while ago, so I was looking at it, and yeah, all of them were so, it was great, my lunch or something, it was like a.
Well, there's the planning commission right now is considering
Plans that said, hey,
language
we're going
around
to drive,
solar
they don't want
panels.
to drive, they want to drive the
And
regions.
part of it is because
Down,
there's
farther down,
now
which means there's more arsenic in it.
one, a lot of
because
solar
there's
panels
naturally
got
occurring
installed
arsenic
before
in
anybody
Michigan's
paid any
groundwater,
real
which gets
attention and anybody
more highly
got
concentrated
states
without, but they didn't care.
screaming.
It's always money, it's never real environmentalism.
What I'm looking at is like, what's more rural than the
Yeah.
And I'm sorry, if you're driving past my property or walking past my
That's
property,
good, that's
and
good.
you don't want to.
You're the kind of people who should actually.
Don't
limit
look at it.
But that's the thing.
A lot of people did something.
Yeah, and it's millennial,
I'm sorry.
Yeah.
Yeah, they make
Yeah.
this huge.
No, you're already doing, I just don't through treasure.
Well, that's a,
It's
that's a
things are
whole.
like, I'm so that was like, hey, love.
There is no actual commercial
Well, you
installation.
got one that's like
At
38%.
least, yeah, I feel, in this town Township, I don't think that commercial
Yeah,
solar
and she
should
barely did like
be
anything,
allowed.
so I keep telling her she should
You
run
can
for
report
it.
it down to other
Yeah, I'll try to, if I do run
residents.
against you for trustee.
You know, you get to Ann Arbor, this thing, there's a lot more
Well,
space
I,
for
like you,
solar farms than right here.
but at the same time, it's like, okay, I might as well try that.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It was, I'm sorry.
Oh,
It,
geez.
it seems like, just from what I've seen on
Jason,
Facebook,
Jason,
like, it's like,
Jason.
the people who know what's going on, which unfortunately most people don't pay attention to the politics, but it's like, most of the people don't like what's going on. And it's like, okay, well, you care about your constituents. Right, especially since like, okay, Cottonwood, I'm assuming that 99% of the township doesn't even know Cottonwood exists, or at the very least is like, they don't bother me at all, so why are my taxpayer dollars paying for your petty grievances? Like, it's mine.
So, being a resident there, I heard one thing that there was was it Washington County Utilities that came and just checked your guys' sewage capacity in your drainage system because of multiple residences? Or do you not?
I don't know, I mean, because I work full-time, so I'm like at home, so that you'd have to probably ask Michelle and stuff.
Okay.
Yeah, I'm aware of, when.
Well, but you guys are on septic and drainage field,
Yeah,
and all properties connected to it.
yeah, I mean, I think we actually have two, because we have two different
Two
wells.
separate ones,
Yes,
okay.
we have two wells, and I'm pretty sure we have two separate septic tanks as
They've
well.
been drained since you lived?
Oh,
have they
yeah,
been
like
drained
at
since
least
you lived
twice,
there?
yeah.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
You guys have never had like, yeah. Okay. So anything towards that argument is.
Maybe, have they tried to make it happen? Well, I think it's just in line with the, like, there's two.
I think they're just.
Yes.
The walls.
Yeah,
that's
Seeing
right.
it might stick.
Mhm. Yeah,
That's just fine.
yeah, me too.
What do we know? I mean, we're just on the ground dealing with this stuff.
It just seems
It's
so
just our money going.
personal.
We're just paying.
Yeah.
Well, thanks for everything you do in general in the community. I'm glad that
Yeah.
someone, especially with.
Our tree warrior.
Yeah. Right. I'm seriously like the water. Oh yeah, I'm so mad at all of the chemical dumping. Yeah, just get started on PFAS. Oh, so it's terrific. Here, I think it's.
Oh, you said hi, Sheila?
No, I.
That
Here, I'll
was-
text my name to you. Actually, I'll text you or.
Yes,
Just.
Yes, and I got some.
You're going into my contacts.
Yeah, and I got something that, the DET story about herbicides. So, 24 minutes.
We're certainly paying enough taxes for them to send a guy out with a lawnmower. Like,
Well, they used to, have that, and it's, an honest living wage to work for the road commission. And I think taxpayers would pay more money to have no workers cutting the grass.
well, yeah, I think
Yeah.
people knew about it and also the super harmful effects otherwise. Yeah, well, another thing too is that, we would have the money for that if they weren't using road commissioning funds to, for instance, set up those flock AI cameras in the name of security that track people's license plates and is putting in a database that anybody can buy that data from.
Who's that? Who's buying those? Do you really?
Townships and, well, I'm not certain exactly here, but I know there are some, I've actually seen some I've seen one on 23, if you're, if you're like coming for get some money to here.
Wow,
But-
there's only 23?
But,
Yeah, I know what you're talking about.
yeah, but those things, they never let people know this is happening, but it's, to keep people safe or something, of course, it's always that. But anyone from law enforcement to some random stalker to the federal government can just buy that data and track where you
can't buy it.
Oh, yeah, rented, they give you a subscription, because everybody's a subscription. Ironic in itself. Yeah. I only know about this because I watch really weird YouTube videos, this isn't in the news ever, it's like, you find this out and didn't even realize it. But, too. Yeah. Thank you for speaking and speaking for what you do.
Thank you.
Hope you guys win.
Thanks. I'm a supporter. Yeah. A relative. Yeah.
You know, speaking is powerful. They say nobody cares because no one comes to the meetings and people don't speak up. So they think no one cares.
Well, last
I've
time,
been told that by a township.
last time I went was one of the big animal, like when they were doing the animal stuff, and it was like packed with people, all like voicing, even someone.
Sure, and live person there too.
Yeah, I mean, but even a woman she's in the ag business, has like master's degree, super knowledgeable, was like going through it, like this does not make sense. Clearly this was not made by somebody who knows agricultural standards and all this stuff, and it's like, okay, people showed up.
Well, it's the same thing with all those hearing group hearings,
The data
Congress.
centers.
Yeah, the data centers. Every single one, you read the newspaper, every single person, there wouldn't be a single voice of support. You know, they'd have to like move the meeting to a bigger town hall just to keep in line with the fire code. Every single person would be against it, and then the board just approves it anyway. I mean, that's what happened in Saline. That's what happened in Ipsy. And Ipsy, yeah. Yeah, I mean, Ipsy has the University of Michigan behind it. Like, you know, they're just this low income.
They passed that Michigan, they're going to do a data center there?
I'm pretty sure. Like,
Yeah.
yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, I mean, the University of Michigan is behind it. It's like they're like, oh, it's not a data center. It's like a data something or other site. I'm like, okay, you know, but yeah,
It's
it's
just
like,
the exact same stuff, but it's not as.
right. So it's like, so you're choosing this lower income area to do your horrible things, and then you're like, oh yeah, it's also going to be used for nuclear research. Like,
That's what I heard.
and who wants this?
From New York, and we went to the airport.
Oh my gosh.
No idea how long it'll take.
Why is everyone corrupt? Like,
Yeah,
it's not even, at so many levels, it's like beyond even like
Probably make some kind of
political
motion.
sides. It's just people, like, they don't really give a crap about any of that.
Discuss-
Yeah.
You know, discuss parameters or whatever the hell, and they'll
like,
hopefully
people at a certain level.
settle.
So it's like, either,
Make some
beat them
sense.
at that game, which is really hard.
Well, they have to,
Yeah.
they have to make a motion about something.
Honestly, back to the Landers in like the 70s, they had to go like way out. We were like,
I thought people were just chit chatting back around and then just see people sitting there.
Yeah.
Else happened.
Well, you have to come out and have some kind of motion about
we
what
lived all over, we lived in California, we lived in Minnesota,
someone will make a motion,
Illinois.
they'll vote on it. It'll probably go for that, but it's no matter.
There's like no more room because every rural area is getting
Who's on what
bought out,
side?
essentially.
It's that, it's that combination with,
Obviously, you know John's side.
big capitals, like, hey, these places are really marketable.
He was like so angry, he saw a comment.
Yeah, obviously, I don't want to.
And or,
I'm guessing Mike is just told with them, say, everything else they're out.
yeah, so that's part of the motivation.
I'm guessing
No.
that shit.
What are you talking about this?
But it's also aesthetic, it's not just capital, it's also like, hey, I want a certain vision for what this place looks like.
That's right, and it's usually
All the time.
just making the world uglier and brutalist.
Oh,
It's like, okay, like it's like lame
She's
brutalism.
even have a good
vision. Right.
She's like,
You're doing it for your vision and it's funny. It's good. It's like, we gotta get that. It's just concrete. With tons of cars and strip malls.
So, yeah, there's this hilarious meme I saw, it was like, and he's like, settlers or something looking over this like pastoral scene, and the next thing is that McDonald's, and it's like,
Oh gosh.
this is,
Does he know
what we want.
That's something like, oh, this is a perfect place for us to settle our McDonald's and strip malls. Like, yeah, that's what they thought.
okay.
Well, we can argue, well, not argue with each other, but we rant all the time. We send each other videos and articles. It's like 11 o'clock at night, I'm like, hey, did you know? I'll be like in bed, like I should go on my phone and just like, I see the notification pop up from her and I'll announce, I'm like, oh boy, what's
I'll tell her I came here.
The water, is that?
this? Yeah, just into, chemical pollution and water in general, and PFAS, and that's actually becoming a more national conversation now. And just realizing, you know, all these chemicals, how little actual safety mechanisms there are, and how little review is actually done, and how there's literally evidence that, you know, these environmental reviews or these scientific studies are simply ghostwritten. But it doesn't matter because at this point, you know, with PFAS especially, the problem is so huge because it's going to be going on for decades and decades. That it's like, well, it's too expensive. Obviously, we can't have the corporations pay for it, so there's no way we can fix it. It's like, there's something called responsibility, and if you did all this, and even though you're making, you know, billions in a year, it's so bad that even if you can't clean it up, you deserve to go out of business, and you might deserve to go to jail too. Well, that's never going to happen.
If you get rich and
All people and not right, all of these truly scientifically unexplainable increases in child cancers, CRS, you know, eating disorders, all of these things that really there are very, very strong correlations between
What I also know in
pesticides, you know, the rate of
our
Parkinson's,
interviews, we
for
were
instance, is
supervisors.
insanely high, and that's also one of the life
What are your main responsibilities
one of the
township supervisor?
suspected
And we both
side
as township supervisor.
you know what I mean? Yeah. But then you realize, well, the sad thing is, if they ban glyphosate, then instead of, it's not like the companies are like, oh, let's find a safer method. They would just use, you know, paraquat or some other equally, if not more dangerous pesticide, because it's cheaper. It's all about profit, you know. Again, and that's why I think that all of these, you know, I mean, cultural issues are important, don't get me wrong, but I think that they are just being weaponized by people in power, just to distract you. And you know, at least I think more people are maybe waking up to that, but you have such a crazy, partisan environment that it's really hard to stay grounded and stay focused on things that really do impact our quality of life. At the most basic fundamental level, like actually clean water. Like, okay, great, it doesn't have E. coli, but it has, you know, benzene in it, so it's not exactly clean.
arsenic.
Yeah.
It's insane. Well, it's like, I think, you know, like, I'm sort of in between everything. Like, my family's like extremely conservative. The other side of the family is like way more, sort of not conservative. So I'm like in the middle.
Yeah.
I'm like,
It's hard to be in the middle.
So this side of me is saying, I think there's not, like, there's a lot of information out there that basically says, like, oh, you have to use these chemicals for communities. So it's like the chances of
Right.
But then as I look at more of these alternative circles, I'm realizing actually they're all so cool that without supposed to sit in most of them.
We already have the alternatives. It's just, oh, well, we have to implement them. Implementing them could cost money, so.
And also the people who have already locked in, so
Yeah.
it's in and we're in
Yeah.
power because of the money. So.
Yeah, we'll see what happens. Things actually make me right out. There's so many alternatives that I'm thinking about.
I know, that's always the kicker.
Especially if you factor in the estimated healthcare costs, right? People getting these chronic diseases, which push up cost of healthcare, because now you can't just have insurance like on any disasters. You can't afford to get this monthly medication without insurance. You have to get more expensive plans.
I need more practice,
Like,
speaking,
you know.
you're not speaking of this broken shit.
It's like me with the conspiracy theory.
I'm opposed, do it. And I have a written speech. And, but I have a hard time when I look at people, I study. I know, I'm working on it. That's why I got practice. And that's why this is a great place to practice. So I did try to look at them a few times. But I just wanted to remind them that I'm not,
Well, why even bother?
yeah, and I watched when they talked, a lot of them didn't even look at you.
No.
I was like, oh my God, so they're not even look at me when I'm talking.
Putting the effort in.
But, you know,
So that's why the
but
background action.
practice, I'm gonna get better. And I just need to, you been since January, so it's only like, I'm only 3 months in of doing all this speaking, so.
I'm a little bit more
I'm like,
serious.
Well, I mean,
I have
just
nothing
because
prepared.
it's well, it's like, oh,
Style, out of,
To find someone just hold their phone and go pay attention.
yeah.
and just look at one person.
And look at her.
No, there's a lot of, it's like we secretly agree, but we're pretending that it's gonna be better. Sometimes it can be.
Yeah,
It's
that's,
very
no,
rare.
it's not, it's them. And it's when they're looking at me is when I get, it's the eyes on me that fucks it up.
Last year, and,
So, and but Mike, he was watching me, looking at you the whole time. He was really engaged, I thought.
multi-generational, yeah. Well, there we go.
No,
Yeah, it's, they're all over.
Yeah, I just, you know,
lot of the US. So it's something
there,
to think about.
there's just more in the story that we don't know.
Something
I
I'm
know.
starting to.
I guess we might have a else if they have these conversations about what we're.
I know, that would have been good to say.
I'm gonna say it after.
Okay, yeah, that would be good. Because John said we were so erroneously, yeah.
Presenting a fact,
Well, then-
factual erroneous.
Why don't you tell us what the problem is, so we really
Tell us what I
understand it?
said.
yeah, especially sound like.
He said, just say it.
There's tendencies.
Tell him what I said, it was right.
Oh, gosh. He's literally living in ours.
Yeah. I didn't like how they,
But yeah, it's the industrial.
what they did to,
Like that's like.
kick out people on.
Oh, right, yeah, I've heard of.
Yeah.
I thought that was
I
bullshit.
know you've heard of that, it's recent.
Which-
Yes, somebody's doing it for us.
It's a different
Generation
situation.
operates. Hear about the news for memes or
We were never given that opportunity to present it.
So are they waiting, are they deciding something about?
Yeah, I don't know what kind of version or.
He said it wasn't a fucking cult, it was just a bunch of fucking hippies growing food, farming the land, right?
Well, everybody had these.
We had this woman that was like 74 years old, she was a retired concert
Call
flautist.
to public.
All right, so it
Her
wasn't hippies.
husband worked at, her husband was like some music director at Yards. And they just wanted to retire and shine on a farm.
What's wrong with that, right?
We weren't hippies, she didn't grow a garden.
Well,
She
it's,
was a
you know, it's okay.
Oh, okay.
Like you and like.
See what I didn't know, I wasn't
So
impressed.
over, so.
But I just, yeah, because I know, what's his name that had the bus?
Oh, yeah, Chris and I.
Yes, yeah.
I actually did pitching. Yeah.
But I know his nickname was, they don't call him Chris, Fishbones or Fish, what was it?
Yeah.
Fish store?
Yeah, well,
Fish-
he did aquarium.
Fish doctor, there it is, fish doctor. Yeah. I was called
Are
fish.
you guys?
So
My friend, Tony Grove,
She's
he
my
came all the
sister.
time.
No, but she lives in Webster
Do you know
Township.
him?
And I'll say
He's
hi
for
to
Tony
kids.
Grove.
Yeah, she's friends with, well, me obviously, but also.
So there's this pretty famous artist
Yeah, one of the
from
residents.
Clement. He, me
Tony
and him,
Rocco?
yeah.
Yeah, that's how I.
Me and
Finally caught.
Tony worked at Ford together.
One of my best
Okay.
We
friends.
both paint on the side and do art shows. And
So it was like, oh.
he just loved,
It's like, yeah,
Chris
I mean,
just
he
looked.
wants to foster
And
this intentional.
Chris modeled for him a few times.
You were
some
talking
paintings.
Oh.
And
good,
he's
like,
like
it's-
on he's on like a beer bottle. Yeah, and so
No,
I
I
was
mean,
laughing
it's
at you,
definitely
'cause I'm like,
very.
oh, fucking fish
important.
doctors, yeah, it's fucking everywhere.
And, you know, people talk about fishes all
Show
the
you
time.
pictures.
Like,
They're pretty awesome.
You know, the loneliness crisis, the like affordability crisis, and it's like, yeah, like, maybe the system both of those work. Yeah, like both of those things, it's like, yeah, it's still difficult, you know, and I still live with roommates because things are expensive. But it's like, it's still vastly better, and I just feel so grateful to be able to live in a community, you know.
It's awesome to do that.
it's a little
Yeah, like,
more
you know, I'm
use
not
the
always
base,
about
but the
it.
first one, if I
It's just so
could find
expensive,
it,
it's like, yeah, you know,
there's a bicycle.
I can
I'm on a
probably
bicycle.
make it work, living on my own and paying, I don't even know. But like, I
It's-
definitely
it's-
wouldn't be able to
the
do
average-
any savings.
The average from what I've seen is like 17
No,
a
not
month.
that much.
Without, that's minus utilities, I guess utilities not included.
Where are you?
That's, yeah.
I didn't know that.
No, yeah, I mean, I'm 43.
This
And
is
I
a
would
space
say,
cut.
it feels like almost right after I was born, it's like everyone just started.
Correlation,
I was like, it's like
There's
bus, I'm waiting for the food.
Yeah, well, it's
So,
just,
yeah,
we
we
just
just
have to
little
scale those
pieces.
productivities.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah,
The graphs,
So
look
it's
at the
enjoyed,
graphs, it's just.
his
That's why I think the
style
numbers at
and.
our age had like, what was it? Hold on. Like 73% more buying power than we did or something.
Oh, yeah, probably. Well, the thing is, like, that's fine, you know, like, that happening, it's not fine. But I can accept that if we could have an honest conversation about it happening. And that's the problem, I think, is we're not actually looking at the numbers.
Well, did you hear that the Chelsea Workner Road people lost their lawsuit to the road commission?
Well, because that's the hard thing to do.
Yeah.
That's the nuance
But
to prove
what
it.
they haven't said in the
That sells.
news is that we did save.
I mean,
over
it's,
200
my job is to
trees.
cover Congress, so I'm
So
pretty
of course
cheesed
the
at this
road
point. I've been doing it
commission,
for
we were never gonna cut those big giant ones
It's just,
down.
or,
But
no, 2 years.
You did say, road
yeah, it's
commission, we
just-
were gonna widen the road 8 feet on each side. And when we take the tape measure, those trees were in 8 feet, so duh, they were gonna get, but you're gonna say you weren't gonna cut them, okay, all right, you know. I'm spreading misinformation, but whatever, I keep lying.
I would barely squeak into millennials.
Secretary of State over there in Chelsea.
And so I was like, can't you just go for it?
Been on there since they.
Oh, God.
Put up there.
And I was like, man, this is like.
Yeah, that's sad.
It looks so
Well, that's why it's like.
And that's the kind of post they put in for data centers, so I don't know if there's
I'm
something
gonna
else
try to
put
live
in.
with my
that
friends
they're not
in my
telling
community
us.
and like be kind to people in my orbit and,
Yeah.
you know.
And then that's the same thing we were wondering with Webster Road, like, when you put an 8-foot
Yeah, my
shoulder
boss is
on a country
to
road,
me, like,
what's
and I
coming
should,
in?
like, in terms of
A
organizing,
gravel
I
mine
should have social media.
or a data
Like, if
center?
I- if you have social media,
Like,
and you get
they
followed,
were
I
gonna
post,
do
I already
something,
write about
or
stuff.
were they just
Not
targeting
post
the
about
giant
it. So
oak
just like my
trees?
writing's
The
gonna
trees
speak
are
for
probably
itself.
worth a
I'm just
couple
gonna keep
million
working.
in lumber,
Wow.
Like, there was so many
those
times, like,
giants.
oh, yeah,
So,
grow your following. I'm like, I don't care. I don't care.
I had a pretty
Well, you
cool
know,
run
it's like
over
the
that
food
started
prices going up, like,
to
it's
die
gonna
of
be,
rot.
like, growing up, the food's gonna be pretty.
I had a timber company come and say that.
Oh, yeah, I mean, well, I didn't do it
Well,
last
rock
year. I do like, you know,
Well, it had
little
started to
vegetable
rot.
gardening or whatever, but it
Yeah.
is, like, even that, I mean, and you know, I'm like,
That's a
I'm
different
single person,
story.
I'm feeding,
If
you know,
it's
kids
a
and
healthy tree,
so it's, you know, that
and
definitely scales
a
very
shapely
differently,
tree,
but
where
it's
you
like,
can get
yeah,
all
that
those cool
is super
shapes.
helpful.
Well, a lot of people are getting chickens.
I don't know.
I mean, eggs,
I think-
really healthy, really expensive now, which I do not.
I'm
think for a
trying
second. It's just
to
a
find
feed
out
flu.
how much
I
money
think that
they
there are a
make
lot
off all this
price problems
COVID,
that
and I wanna know who gets all that money.
because the supply
Yeah.
chain
Where's all that money going?
All the money's pretty
Not that
good.
those
But
things don't
nobody's-
impact, but
nobody's
the
telling
numbers in
me,
the graphs,
so.
it's like, okay,
Um,
these should be down by now. This
Make
is
a
not
FOIA.
a free market anymore. You know,
I'm trying to learn how to do that,
but
but
yeah,
I'm
I
also,
have a lot of people, you know, are
I'm
doing.
also kind of worried about doing everything in my own name,
Yeah, our neighbors gonna change.
because I've already had like threats on my life
Yeah,
over
so the
some
township comes in and takes them away.
threat to burn my house down.
I really
So,
wanna know what they
it's kinda
have
like-
with them, because the neighbor complained about.
I want to do another petition against MDOT, but don't want to do it in my name. Nobody else wants to put their name on it.
Personally, I
Yeah,
can
it's
find
your neighbor.
information on a FOIA.
Our neighbor, I live on
What does that mean?
Victoria.
Oh, okay.
So like if you submit a FOIA request, and then I submit a FOIA request after that,
So they
all FOIAs.
No, it's like, sometimes it's like, oh yeah, we're gonna wait for something, chickens won't lay as much, and then other times people are like, I have 8 dozen eggs, please help
I can
me.
see the
Yeah, Holly came over today to.
Oh, yeah.
number of the
Sister-in-law was like,
of the
please.
FOIA
Yeah.
that you
We
requested.
have eggs.
I can see what was
Yeah,
requested.
so it was zucchini, if you
What
plant
I-
zucchini.
If I FOIA it, It would
I
be
learned-
safe for me to get doctored.
I'll take the eggs. It's like, you know, nobody's got me.
So,
in my garden.
if I did
I was
a
keen
tree
to
contract,
it'll produce
a
so
tree
much.
contractor for Washington County Road Commission, would they know it's me doing it?
Green beans are pretty good.
The road commission.
Oh my gosh.
Yeah, see,
Yeah, I think
That's the
one of my
problem.
main things is just,
they don't like me.
you know, I was talking about how it's just very depressing.
So,
that
I don't know if I have to just hire
anyone
like a
big
lawyer.
basically who's even, you know, doesn't know this, but, you know, you'll have a problem,
Commission
and both
website,
sides will
they've
just
got
both offer
10 minutes to set
extreme
it on there,
and
but I
stupid
think there's a
solutions
search
to
bar,
it,
you
you know,
should be able to type in
solutions
FOIA
that
request.
never work, or if
You
they do,
probably
it
have
turns
to
out
have
just
that
complicated
PDF
problem.
form you
But it's
fill
just
out.
crazy because, for instance, you'll have one side that says we
Oh, what?
shouldn't have any regulations, or barely any because of the economy or whatever. And then you have the other side that says, well, we need
And
to
then they
regulate
just email it
everything,
to you?
Sure.
for safety or whatever. And obviously, it's a balance.
Wow.
But I feel like we have the wrong balance at this point. The balance that we have at this
It's
point
not
is
illegal.
you have big corporations like Triumph
Yeah,
Capital
because
Company and the one
I
that's
know.
down.
I wanna know the details about the
Oh, yeah.
tree contract.
Yeah, right by the river.
Yeah.
And I wanna
That was
know
your
the
city
tree
dumping
percent.
and that's totally fine. That, you know, you have these data centers coming in, they just switch up the zoning laws for them. But if it's someone owning chickens, you know, or having a cow, suddenly that's a detriment to the public. It's like, I don't care if my neighbor has a cow, I do care if my water is polluted. Can we get our priorities straight, please? And so, and that shows you, I just want, that it is about money.
FOIA the
It's like
Washington
money
County
and
Road
the
Commission for
power
any and
and
all
the status.
electronic communications between them and
Yeah,
private or
it's
public
really, I mean, so,
timber companies.
you know.
And they would have to send you a copy of every single email
It rhymes.
that has ever existed between them
Yeah,
and the
yeah.
companies within the amount of time you stipulate.
Are you a lawyer? You
I
know all this shit.
think that's.
I read too much, Darren.
Somewhere around, like I said, after 1980.
I'm a farmer.
I don't know this stuff, and I'm trying to.
Well, you have a lot of things like most days, I mean, you had, you know, the gold standard, you had change the tax laws, you had, what's it?
I don't know if they could be by law.
Yep, they can.
Overseas.
They can be
You
dissolved.
tried it,
You
you
just
tried
kind
it
of
before,
perfect
I mean, they did not.
right?
I suppose
And
if
some of it was,
dissolve
you
the
know, some of the
Washington
tax
County
rules
Road
were, okay,
Commission
we have
is
tax
stable
so
Washington
let's
County Public
jumpstart this,
Listen,
right?
that's-
So maybe it would have been good if it had been
Oh, I'm disassociating.
How long is this gonna
I
take?
know, yeah. You can join our conversation if you want.
Well, then the housing too, you had the housing market crash, right? And then you had private equity, you see a bunch
Forever.
of houses that are cheap and like,
Catherine,
buy
are
them
you
and
an
rent them
attorney?
out, you know? So
Me? No.
I think
No.
it's,
Okay.
it's
My dad.
easy to trace from a lot of
I
this
know
stuff,
there's several
right? But
attorneys
then
there,
it's
you
like,
guys know several attorneys.
Yeah, and my dad's not involved with Cottonwood or anything.
But it's just sheer power at work, and that's why it's like, can't be stopped. you know
Is
what I
that
mean?
the attorney, the last guy that went in, that was sitting up here in the front
Yeah,
row and went
weird.
into?
That's Matt Cushel, the attorney.
Interesting.
My dad wanted me to be a lawyer, but
yeah, I mean,
I did not want to suffer through law school.
That's right, you do accounting,
Yeah, accounts receivable. It's
Okay.
like, yeah, I just do numbers.
which I probably would remember if I thought for 1 second. Like,
No, no,
she
you-
ran for treasurer. And then
Yeah.
we're all, you know, have work and family lives and stuff that we're coming from here. But it's an odd time to hold a meeting, 6:30, that's like, right, it's like dinner time / right after dinner.
I am disappointed there aren't more people here.
Yeah.
Like, really?
There would be.
Well, I mean, it was also so last minute. Like they sent the email yesterday. Sent the email yesterday.
Yeah. Yeah.
I wonder if they posted it on the board, because Open Meetings Act, they have to post that, but then they have to post that week in advance.
I didn't look. I just know it was like yesterday or the day before.
Well, I know that email blast went out.
Right. That's how I saw
My
it.
guess is they posted, which is really dumb, and why the email blast is so important. They just hit a piece of paper out
Right,
front and
nobody's
say that
gonna
it's
want
posted.
Yeah.
So it's like, cool, everybody in township's gonna drive by and take a peek what's going on.
Yeah, you know, I always do that.
Your daily drive.
I think it was, I'm sorry. What, I
Oh,
missed your,
Therese,
Perez?
yes.
Perez.
I'm bad with names too. I
You
will
said
not be
something
offended
like
if you-
42 earlier, it made me think immediately of Hitchhiker's Guide to the Galaxy. And in the beginning of that book, there's
this whole joke about this guy's character being, he's just laying in the road trying to prevent this construction crew from ripping his house down. And they're like, what are you talking about? We put these plans up like 3 months ago. He's like, I had to go down to the basement of the township hall, over some broken stairs, find a light switch that with a light bulb that didn't even actually work to find them.
Well, they had to, when did they decide they were gonna have a meeting? That was the thing. I went back and I was looking in the minutes.
Part of it said like, oh, they were having it on January 26th, and I'm like,
Yeah,
did
there's
we
like
forget to
previous
change the?
Yeah.
The original, it's like, oh, March 26th, and then it's like, oh, yeah, so on January 23rd.
Right, it was like March 26th and then January.
Was this?
So yes, the county commissioners
Yeah, it's like, how long has this been?
have the
going
power
on?
to dissolve them. And I've mentioned it at a recent meeting, and they talked about it, and they said, yes, we still can do it.
They do still have to, at least as far as state law, have to have a public service.
Yes, yes, that's what it would become. But,
No.
we,
Oh,
well,
and I'm wondering, should I
we've been getting people to go up there and speak against them and complain, and I've got some really
Yeah, whatever.
good people that have been
Their meetings,
Wednesdays at 7.
every Wednesday at 7.
No, every other. They have two a month.
I don't know.
Not that I think.
Pretty sure Kristen.
I mean, I did this
It's
I don't know how like
220
the,
North
I think it's
Main.
BOI.
It's the old courthouse
Like,
on Main Street, like across from the German restaurant.
Yeah, that's yours.
Like, you
Yeah.
know.
So,
But,
and the public thinks
yeah, you could just
speaking
do
at
like
the beginning.
Discord or something. It's
And
like,
so one day
like
we
a
got like 8
group
people
chat
to
thing
speak
you can
against the
also
road
call.
commission, so that was real powerful.
do WhatsApp too.
And then,
Against the road commission, to the road commission?
no,
Or the board?
county commissioners.
Oh, the board of commissioners.
Yeah, we've been complaining about the road commission to the county commissioners.
Yeah.
That we want oversight because they keep just cutting the trees. And we don't like that they cut the trees down and then create these big ditches
Not a common complaint.
that just drain all the road runoff
Okay, it's 6, I feel like.
to our
this
streams
semester
and
it's
pollute our
6
streams.
I mean,
And I
If
think the
it- like
projects are
everything else is
ridiculous,
great.
and what our township is paying for the new culvert on Zeeb Road, did you go see that yet?
Oh,
Where are they
everything
looking
has
at?
to
Zeeb and North Territorial,
Oh,
I think
What's
6
that
or
yesterday?
above. I think that's probably.
it's so ridiculous.
just right down here, right?
They're like, oh, it's a flow problem. Oh, well, how about just cleaning all the trash out of the creek and the branches?
Local minority.
And I bet you the flow
I
will
mean,
just
I see
flow so
plenty of
much
different
better. But
shapes
they have
and sizes of
annihilated
people
like all
get
this
married
forest
together,
and
so
trees
clearly.
just so they can create this, change this culvert that isn't very big. And they had to clear trees that's longer than this building. Like, what? For a culvert project? I'm like, it's just so over the top, and then they're charging $500,000 for it. We're paying for it, and our township is contributing to it.
Well, so I'm like hyper, I've seen heard about this stuff. So they actually, it is like, it's something.
I want to talk about that, but I didn't know if we could talk about that
Oh,
today.
yeah.
I only.
Oh, can we?
Ah, we're.
Yeah, you can go for 30 minutes.
That's like.
Can we talk again?
Because that's.
There
Okay.
should be another public comment.
Okay, cool, then I'm gonna talk about that.
So, then they sometimes say, please
Yeah.
come out and
And
give
see,
3
at
minutes
this point, I'm
comment.
like,
Okay.
well, you know,
Public
I'm always
comment,
very
public meeting,
mindful of like what I ever put in writing or online, not that I
Okay.
post much online.
And also,
But it's
you
like,
can
at
go
this
up
point, I'm
there
like,
and they can ask you.
I feel like
comments around
I
this
can't,
stuff.
I'm like,
Okay.
there's so much tracking and stuff going on, I'm just like,
Oh,
oh, Gmail.
I mean,
Like, yeah, like, whatever, I'm using Facebook Messenger, okay?
Well, I think it's important,
I
we should go look at it now. We should look at it now. It's sad when you see all the stumps, because now you can really see what they cut when you see the stumps,
Yeah.
before they grind them all down.
Have you been to the road committee meetings?
Oh,
I guess
God,
it does
they
come
hate
out
me.
pretty cool.
Yeah. I've gone to almost every single one this year.
I also just.
Those are meetings I have not found time in my schedule.
You gotta.
Well, they're online now, so you can also do them online at 1 p.m. on Tuesdays.
Grow a
Say,
spine.
So sometimes I just watch online, I don't say shit, I just watch.
Yeah.
And I know they hate it, and then my picture's a little bird.
So I
And
mean,
like the little bird in the room, just listening. They talk about a bunch of bullshit.
Like, values that I was taught.
Yeah, how to spend their money.
It's a lot of crap. I can't stand it. And I wanna know if they're using herbicides again.
You know, like,
Yeah, back like when everybody was putting up the old spray or something.
Well, they said they would never use herbicides again, but how do we know they really stopped? Who's checking? I would like to know, and that's where that Freedom of Information Act on some tree contracts would come in, would give me
You
some
probably know if they
information.
were spraying or deciding.
conversation was just gone different like.
Yes, but I obtained some UNDOT tree contracts where they cut the trees and they spray the stumps with herbicides. So is Washington County doing that when they cut trees?
Yeah.
Spray the stump?
What's happening?
Are they doing that?
And so that's where I kind of jumped off the boat, you know what I mean?
Pretty common for a stump like that, if they don't feel like putting the work to grind or burn it out, they'll just put it out.
Everyone always says like, oh, well, you need a strong military in order for it to be.
How much should they use? I got the data safety sheet on it, and it's called TORA.
Otherwise you get vacuum power.
And it's also called Agent White, which is in Vietnam. And when you actually pull the safety data sheet on the actual ingredients in TORA, it's even more disturbing.
It's like you want them to use those.
It says right on it, it kills birds, it kills aquatic life, it kills bees and butterflies, it kills us. It kills the trees, actually.
Meaning
It
it's never
kills
balanced in the
everything.
budget since.
And it has forever chemicals, never
Audit.
goes away, poisons our water.
Yeah, I mean, yeah,
Kills the fish.
No, I personally.
Kills the frogs, kills the birds.
I
What are
I'm
you doing?
politically homeless as well in a way, and but
So-
I got to the point where it's like, I just need to accept that because labels don't really.
Yes,
mean
I'm
anything,
fighting
right?
that.
Like, I'll vote in a way
I
that
can't
think is
pronounce her name, so I
practical and
can't
that aligns
remember it,
with my
but I
conscience.
have it in my
I
phone.
probably tend to be more on the conservative side because some of like the, you know,
You've never heard someone's name
like
before,
some
how are you
like
supposed to remember
Christian
it?
values, it's like that's what I believe, right? But when it comes to like things like environmentalism or the economy or all those things, I'm like, that doesn't have to be inherently
Say that
partisan.
name.
It shouldn't be inherently partisan. And I think that people on both quote unquote sides, although even that seems to be kind of a divisive rhetoric, I think that when it really comes down to it,
And
we
then I was
care
interviewed
about the same
with the
things, or most of the same
Yeah,
things,
you
but we
said that.
just come at it in a different way,
Did I
right?
send it to you
And we
yet?
think that there are different solutions to
Okay,
it.
I must send it to you.
And when I say we, I don't mean
Copy
the politicians that just have this divisive rhetoric online, and yeah, like for instance, I'm like, exactly,
So it's
exactly.
kinda
It's like
long,
some it's like,
24
okay, well,
minutes.
Senator Mike Lee or somebody's
So
gonna
when
go
you
off
get a
about how,
chance,
you know, stupid people aren't having kids.
And I
And
know
it's
that-
like, well, okay, Mr. Millionaire, he's made a bunch
David
of money on
Lyons,
insider trading.
he's the
Maybe
senior
we should put some
producer.
Policies that can
And,
help people do that, you know, but
he
again,
contacted
look,
me
these
on
people
the
find
spring
something
meeting for
like
that, so
stone
he
cold top
goes,
donors, so it's like
I saw
everybody's
your,
surprised, you know.
I saw
Or
your
you have,
email
I don't know,
about the 94 tree cutting by the airport.
Hakeem Jeffries or somebody,
ended
right?
up,
Or-
because I
and
wrote him
there's a
about
bill,
that
it's
and
like,
how
oh, well,
disturbing it
maybe
was.
it's healthcare. Like, yes, I agree.
And are they
Maybe
now
all the
spraying
free. Well,
herbicides
okay,
on that
I mean,
whole
how's that gonna
forest
work?
that
So
they
it's like
annihilated
there's just
next
not
to the
really
freeway?
good faith. Maybe we should
Just
talk
for
about,
temporary,
don't vote on
little
Hakeem
freeway
Jeffries
lanes.
or something.
Oh,
And,
Yeah.
because it was really interesting how you mentioned that spraying herbicides.
I do
and
technically have
have
a
a herbicide story coming out on Monday.
Yeah, I was about to say, tell
Can
me
we
about
talk
please
about-
sometime.
yeah.
Yeah. No, it's, I don't, it's like, I don't like kind of associate, because it's
And
basically
trees
just you
and
can't follow
herbicides.
somebody,
And I'd like to
you know,
record
unless
you.
you have an account.
We talked for 40 minutes, and of course I talked about the Washington County
Oh.
regulation too. And all my battles, all my petitions with the 500 trees, and,
Let's just kind of.
so anyways, he was like, I can't really talk about the trees much, that's gonna be a whole nother story. We're gonna do a whole nother story on that. He goes, but I'm gonna include something about the herbicides in this story on Monday. And I was like, okay, so my part was added last minute, but it's public. It made me cry. But it's,
Yeah, you're texting 2 years or
Yep, I just sent it in Facebook to you.
Well, I mean,
So,
selling profits.
Yeah,
That's why it's so much business up versus down.
So I asked him if he could do some Freedom
Seeing the quick
Information Act
inflammatory
on the
posts
trees
and
on
yelling at the
94
other
and see
side,
if
yeah, we're not gonna pay
spraying
attention
chemicals
to
now
like,
in that
oh,
whole area. And he
there's
said
another
he's
$1
on
billion
it.
going to someone, and there's
So,
there's another 400
he wants to
trees
stop
being
at
cut,
Webster
there's
Township.
another data center, and what's
He wants
this,
to
like,
at least
what?
expose that they're doing it, because he's like, I don't think people really understand downtown. Because I wrote them, I go, how many millions of gallons are they spraying on the entire state? Because they don't want to cut the grass on the side of the
Nuance
street
doesn't
anymore.
sell though, that's the thing. You don't have a politician
He's
run
like,
on
oh my
nuance.
God.
Just don't.
Right.
It's like, except
they're
for,
spraying
the minority or the,
millions of
people that
gallons.
sell stuff. It's like, I
Yeah.
think most people at the end of the day
Yeah.
want what's best.
Because they don't want to cut the
And
grass
if you can
anymore.
like strip down like, oh, well, how are you coming at that or whatever, it's like, yeah, actually, I think
I'm like, how do we
more
change
things
their
because
ways?
we both want the same thing.
How do we
we're
make
just
them
coming
start
at
to
it from
care about
different-
their
Yeah, and they have some different
They
ideas as to
become-
what that looks like.
they
or
become
this way
lazy.
might be better, but it's like,
It's
okay,
all
well, let's start,
laziness.
like,
And
wanna have a
then
good life.
you used to pay people a living wage to work for the road commission to cut the grass. I think if we voted with taxpayers, we would vote that we want people to cut the grass and you not spray chemicals. I think if people had a choice, we voted on it, it would
So I
show.
offered to just show them, like, hey, this is my plan.
But
Yeah.
you don't give us a choice.
Open.
A few of you, 5 of you on a board, and some managers are making a decision for all of us. It's so wrong.
Well, I mean,
And we
the
can't
the
vote
next
yeah.
step is depending on how much support you think you have started.
Adapt.
Yeah.
Yeah, I'm working on one right now.
I mean, you need,
I just don't want to put it in my name.
I think you need,
I have no information to work with.
So they're already picking up a bus essentially, but they don't want to.
Not too bad.
I think because Webster
It's
Township
a
has
garden, guy, like,
approximately
unless you're putting up a
7,000
blow up
residents.
T-Rex or something, I don't think.
Yeah, it's not
petition. Signatures take
I
something
mean, it's a lot of
down
mulch, okay, so like,
on a local ballot here in Webster
I mean,
Township. you need
I
like
get it,
20%.
it's stuff
I
like.
know how to do that.
Hmm?
You know how to do that?
But it's gonna be on.
Petition.
But,
But, and then also like,
I just meant it like online petition, like signatures to like complain. You're talking about a petition to like,
Sorry, I didn't mean to cut you off.
Yeah.
No, I was just saying it's
I
so
mean, you
sad,
need,
like, Cogden's experienced that too, where it's like,
use something.
I think it's just in general, it's
Oh my
like,
God.
oh yeah, let's try to make a connection or be neighbors or talk with someone, it's just like, nope, I want to
Dude, I
just
think
like
it had a
stand in a
hashtag.
bubble and maybe make
But
some
it's on-
informal
it's a
complaint
week and a
somewhere
half
else,
away.
or gossip or whatever, but like, it's like, can we even just talk to people? Your neighbors, like,
That's why the intentional community thing, I think is really powerful.
all right, you're right, you're right. I need to slow down. I got a lot going on.
Well, and just if you expect anything like that to happen overnight,
So-
set yourself up for this
I
point.
don't know, I mean, we're like,
If you want to change something like that, you're looking at
margins, like, right, a couple years, like, anything goes.
absolutely, because you're gonna get those
Sure,
signatures
gonna
that
happen.
go by the state.
And,
You're gonna get it on the ballot, and if fail to pass,
cause I.
anything you're gonna pass, at least on like
Got a kid and then.
local level, you can get straight implementation. If you got something coming here, it's gonna be a year or two of implementation setup before it goes flat out and go fast.
Pretty much anything, even sitting in a chair for 8 hours plays a part.
yeah.
So, I'm getting into this like corner country thing where.
Man, how come you're not?
It's like, it would be nice to be running, but yeah, it's like when I work, you know, a corporate job and like, it's like, yeah, that's not exactly conducive to like lots of farming, you know?
Because I think I voted for Mike.
Should have baked too
Oh,
much.
this one.
Oh, get ready for the primary.
That's right, because I heard Ruth's
That's
son
my
is running, and I was like, oh, I like Ruth, I'll vote for her son. That's right, that's it.
Yeah.
Damn
I
it.
need like 6% more.
Yeah,
That's your job.
yeah, I'm a congressional reporter for the Center Square, their online news.
Oh my God.
Yeah, people think that's a lot cooler than it is. Oh, you're just selling yourself. No, it just feels like covering like pretty old people drama and they have
Well, you're definitely involved.
There's just a lot of
Definitely
words
numbers.
in there.
Catherine, you gonna run for treasurer again?
If I do run, it'd probably be for trustee, just because I think financially, it just, I don't think, you know, treasurer is a full-time position, and so I think it wouldn't be wouldn't be feasible for me to.
So you wouldn't have to
I
do
don't know,
a
you
job.
get fat benefits and almost 60 grand now.
But there's benefits now for the treasurer. There wasn't when I ran last election.
There are now. That was one of the first things they did as a board after Mike got elected, was increase his, Mike, and Cummings' pay and give all three of the officers 80% coverage on benefits.
Uncertain how I feel about that, given the current layout. Yeah, also I enjoy my coworkers, which is a rare thing that I have mostly just like numbers stuff. I don't have to deal with as many people now. I work from home, so you know, it can be a blessing and a curse.
So you worked in Webster Township?
Yes. Yeah, no, actually, I have a story coming up this weekend. I don't know if you guys heard of the housing bill, bipartisan housing bill in the Senate, passed the Senate, it's going on to the House. So one of the provisions in it is, and again, it's one of those things where it's not that restrictive at all, right? Like it's barely anything, but it's a restriction on large institutional investors buying up single-family homes and renting them out. Again, so many loopholes, so many caveats, really not like a bunch of impacts, but obviously there are a lot of people who are annoyed about that. Anyway, but it was still, there was a lot of bipartisan support in the Senate. I don't know how much was going to be in the House or if the House is even going to take it up with everything that's going on. But there were 10 senators who voted against it. And I got interested in doing it with the story idea because it was like Tom Tillis or someone was like, no, we should just let the free market do this thing. And I'm like, this is not free market. This is antithetical to the free market. You have these extremely rich people buying up homes. So there is no market. You know, you're stupid. Anyway, but I realized, no, he's not stupid. He's just bought out.
Somewhat controversially as well, one of the potentially more impactful aspects of that housing bill is that it sets a lot of statewide standards on zoning around residential developments. What does that mean? It means basically removing a lot of local control around how zoning is done and where developments are approved.
Yeah, no, it's not perfect, to be fair. But a lot of these lawmakers had specifically pointed out it wasn't the zoning, it was the institutional investor restrictions.
That's a big part of the vote. If you're talking about like they having to sell after 7 years.
Yes, that kind of thing. Right. So anyway, I thought, hey, you know what? Let me just do a dive into the campaign finances, right? Oh, look, Blackstone, KKR and Co., Apollo Global Investments, all these people who would be directly impacted by that kind of provision. So I reached out to all the lawmakers, you know, we did a story, reached out, like, hey, and some of them got back and were like, no, it was actually because of the zoning thing, you know, so I'm going to be including all of, you know, anyone who responds, and you always have a disclaimer, like, just because they receive money doesn't mean they necessarily vote in their interest, but I think it's good to just have the information out there and let people draw their own conclusions. I may have some of my own, but, you know, it's not, I'm just reporting conclusions. Yeah.
Who are you working for?
I work for the Center Square. It's pretty new, started I think during COVID, but it's an online newswire. We sort of function like AP, like we have other outlets will pick up our stuff and republish it as long as they credit us.
Okay.
But we've got, let's see, we've got at least 35 reporters, and we all work remotely, which is
Is that what you do, a journalist, or you?
yeah, well, I'm a reporter, which is not my long-term thing because it's still too, I don't know what, like, not necessarily shallow. Like I think so much of it is just drama, right? But if you're a journalist and you want to, you know, write something more intellectual, or write a book, or write for, you know, a journal, you have to get started somewhere, right? You have to get your name out, and reporting is generally the easiest thing. And I've learned quite a lot, you know, so it's not, but, you know, it's not, I don't love covering budget reconciliation bill votes. Let's just say that.
Yeah.
But yeah, so we tend to be taxpayer focused. I would say there are, like, our editors try to be consistent. I would say that probably like half the reporters are like center-right, and then some of them are more center. And everyone says this, but I try to include just like both sides, right? The good thing is that a lot of times I don't even really care what I'm writing about, so it's like I couldn't be partisan even if I wanted, you know? But I think they really do try to be. I will say I think they have kind of a more, because they're taxpayer focused, right? I think they can be libertarian sometimes. So that's why I'd probably say a centrist libertarian kind of view on the news. But I like it because editors don't tell you you have to write from this slant or something like that, and they're very much, hey, reach out to, include the other side, reach out to the other side if you're reporting on something.
So are you only Michigan local news?
So when I first started, I covered Michigan and Wisconsin election-related news, but then I joined the national team, and I actually covered Congress remotely, which is actually much easier than you think it would be. Everything's live streamed. And,
Cool.
yeah, so I got off work like at 6 o'clock, so ate dinner and then came over here with solidarity.
I'll text her updates sometimes.
Yeah.
Get all her righteous anger.
So no, again, I think that's why just seeing all of that, and again, most people who follow news at all kind of come to this conclusion as well. I think is that in some ways our U.S. lawmakers are not really accountable in some ways. They don't even care, I think, really about pleasing their constituents as much as pleasing their lobbyists. And I know that sounds really jaded and whatever, but I think that's why it's more important than ever to be active at the local level, right? Maybe there's, and just inform people, right? If there's this housing bill and these zoning things, and there's only so much we can do with that, but we can show up to township meetings and we can, study all these things that they're trying to do with the trees and stop them from doing that before they can even get to the point where they're, deciding whether or not to put a potato center, stop them from making the infrastructure for them to get to that point that they're doing, which I find really commendable. So, yeah, I'm glad. I hate that all this is happening, but I'm glad that there's awareness, right? And I'm glad that there's people who really genuinely care.
So I heard you two going, so that bill, just, because I think I actually have heard of it. So I've heard they're also going to try to limit corporations to 50 units. Is that part of it or no? You can only own, if you're over a certain...
Yes, it's actually over 350 units. Yeah, so it's like, define large. But it's a large institutional investor that, the restrictions on are on large institutional investors, and that is any entity that owns more than 350.
Okay, so if they cap it, basically how are they going to do this from another direction is what I think you guys were implying that they're going to rezone or something like that, and then somehow they're going to
Oh, I don't know, I think their rezoning is different from that. I don't think those two are connected.
That's a completely different thing.
It's a different
The way
part.
that the bill is written is that if you're a corporation,
A large
essentially
corporation.
a private finance group who has bought over 350 housing units, there's some stipulations where you can go in and try and show cause that you're holding them to sell.
Build to rent.
Yeah, but if they're built to rent homes, or if you own more than 350, basically the state's going to say you have to sell them all within 7 years.
Okay.
And then they're going to, at that point, likely pass a new cap on being able to purchase only 20 to 50 homes, but that's down the line a few years.
See, that's fascinating to me because that actually does seem like they're trying to help a little bit.
Oh, they're definitely trying to help because there's a huge housing shortage.
Yeah. I don't know, for some reason, like, patterns that I've seen have just been completely driving in the opposite direction. So, that's encouraging, yes.
Well, so here's, I'm sorry.
I was just going to ask, what kind of patterns are you talking about?
It just seems like everything has a sort of like backdoor where there's some loophole that they're exploiting in order to make things less affordable. That's like
have to think about an example, but.
Well, if you want to look at one of the largest driving factors, which is the second part of this bill, which goes to a lot of like state standardized zoning and project approval, is because in large part across the United States, municipalities, local and county, whatever, have largely moved towards single-family residential homes on more land and completely cut out the use of multifamily residential, whether that's condos or apartment buildings or something like that. Well, because local municipalities pass zoning ordinances saying that it's one family on one plot of land in one house on that plot of land. And you just get so many people that are not in my backyard, I don't want to see a residential apartment complex on North Fair Corridor.
Well, how about they make them so ugly? You ever notice how everything coming up is so darn ugly? It's just like steel and gray and yeah. It's not even good steel. Yeah. Yeah.
So are there any other townships around us that have this rule
What rule?
of like single family,
Most of them.
really? Because like, I know of places in Webster.
Yeah, I mean, I'm not
and
super
I know places
active
in
with,
Whitmore
like,
Lake.
Well,
I
so-
have had
City or
shares in like
places
our
in
livestock,
Township?
animal stuff in the
Dexter's
past.
Township?
Right now,
Okay.
probably not, because
My
we'll,
friend was
some
running
people-
an upper
like,
flat in
you
a
know,
One
farmhouse.
tiny little corner,
pigs or chickens
it's
or
like Webster
cows and
Township,
stuff.
that's a multifamily.
So it's like whoever wants to can
Up on, up like.
but then, yeah, I do usually do my own
And that's the
special.
thing, there's just no other zone.
It's definitely much more of a
spaces
side
where
thing.
Webster Township is legal to put up any kind of multifamily. No.
It's
So you
interesting
can't,
that we
like-
go back to saying how feeling like there's loopholes.
You can't
and
have
stuff
a,
like that.
like
There's
this
something that
apartment in your
My-
house or someone else or
My theory,
someone.
Well, that's a
Just
whole
from-
other issue. So
just from things that I've
technically
seen
speaking,
and
at least if you go by the zoning.
the way that the same
currently
bill
written
will actually
in Webster
characterize it in
Township,
different ways. Just
the only
essentially
people
from
allowed
what
to
I
live in your
see in
family
my
are those
theory,
related to you by marriage.
I'm
Also,
thinking,
my
how is it
boyfriend
that all
staying at my
five
house all
of
the
them
time.
are
Yeah,
illegal.
members
not
of Congress are all bought out, right?
Yeah, better
And
figure this
are
out.
just acting in that.
So you can't
and
stay here anymore.
I think it's because.
We're not related yet, put a ring on.
You know, you'll have a, let's say Republican lawmaker, it's like, well, I think what they do is they compartmentalize it. So if they say, well, I know that I always vote for, you know, something
I
that's
forgot to mention.
pro-life
that
and family
we
values,
talked
whatever,
last.
and that's what I base my sense
Okay,
of
okay. I didn't
self-goodness
know
on.
how.
So it doesn't matter if maybe in this other
Did you read the
industry, I'm always gonna work
obituary?
in the industry.
Oh my,
because,
it's quite comical.
You know, the important things, right, I'm
I can send it to you or you can just Google it, but
you know,
they're having a memorial at Dexter.
well, you know,
Park
I'm
for
always
him.
gonna vote for,
So, maybe I'll
increase
see
to
that.
SNAP or something, but, you know, if it's big pharma, then I'll make an exception, right? So I think they operate off, I think that, that's the only thing I can come to really, is like, is that it's every
May
lawmaker
2nd,
has some kind of,
Saturday.
and maybe it's shifting,
There's
there's some kind of line or some kind of section
1
where
o'clock.
they're
No,
like,
May.
okay, like this is
No.
what I'll
So
base
a month
my,
away,
Yep.
yeah.
you know, this is how
There
I'll
actually
assuage
is
my
some-
conscience.
There actually is some patterns or integrity to.
But,
Right, in
it
certain
was a
areas,
kind of
right? It's like if I,
comical,
because it's like how can you look at
obituary, I
yourself
learned
once,
a
you
lot
know?
about Randy that I never knew.
Well, clearly they do.
Yeah.
Like I feel like there has,
Anything you made.
I feel like there has to be some kind of
Went to
compartmentalization where it's like,
trials.
oh, this is where I judge my own virtue, my own
I
faith.
didn't know that
right?
about him.
But like this, that's kind of just like my side.
Yeah, I
my
guess
side,
no rating,
you know?
we were neighbors.
I mean,
Yeah.
because they'll be like so.
We walk across the site.
Yeah. I mean,
Come over,
it's my
sit down,
neighbor
and I
too.
say hi down, and now and then, when I was growing up, yeah.
What I bring to the
You know, I
table
plowed
is-
my driveway and farmed my land for over 20 years.
The brand is just constantly
So-
changing.
Yeah.
I mean,
Now it's,
I would like.
I don't know, Butch has been cutting it,
Or
you know,
something.
Butch.
Yeah.
Whatever it is,
Yeah,
But
well, that's
Butch
why you
wants
want
to-
to sell, right? So kind of be like,
wants
oh, I'm
to
gonna
reseed
I
it
don't
because
have any,
it's
like,
out and like,
slogan worthy, you know,
outgrown a
I
lot of
will do
weeds
this
and
issue,
stuff.
this issue, and this
but he
issue.
wants
I will
like a
fight
5-year
against
commitment
this
and I
person.
just don't know if
Instead,
I'm
you're
gonna
like,
live there 5
"This
more
issue, I'm
years.
gonna act in good faith, and I'm gonna try to do what's
My
prudent
dad's like,
and what's good.
are we gonna
And
have
there's
to
usually
live
not
with me
one
soon?
big
And-
bad guy that you can
Who's
take
so
care of,
proud.
and everything's fixed.
Well,
Right,
I mean,
and
is
it's
there, I mean,
easy
I can
and
move with
easy
dad's,
to
or dad's
do.
move in my house, or we got the,
Well,
there's a lot
that's
in the
really
back
good when you say
behind my
that.
house, 12 acres.
You just
And
can't be
Yeah,
just
they're
fighting for trees.
I know, I know.
Probably.
Well, my parents bought this property and so
Where you going?
there's
You're
12
going.
acres that's buildable
Oh,
between me and Randy.
Yeah,
So
that's a good start.
my mom and dad always said, well, when we get old, we'll build a house and we'll be your neighbor next door. So my dad, now that he's single, he's like, I don't want to build a house. You know, I'm too old, I just want to stay on Independence Lake, but eventually he's gonna have to live with me because he's just getting older and
I'm
I don't want him to
And
be
there's still a
alone.
lot of people,
So-
not everybody gets to last into their nineties.
So, yeah, and I just don't think my house has enough room for him unless I put maybe an addition on or
So I think
something.
you can still.
I don't know what we're gonna do.
Well, there is always that, that is the one way.
Oh,
you
yeah,
can
I mean,
have
I,
additional housing
like,
on your property.
I,
You could build
it's
your
like you're always going to
additional,
have,
well,
you know, interactions
accessory
with
dwelling
neighbors,
unit,
especially if you live closer to
temporary.
them, but it's like, yeah, I have my house.
for neighbors' kids.
Yeah,
Like, Ollie, I will always like.
yes, yeah, it's like, and my roommates and stuff, and so I can actually be pretty introverted and just do my thing, you know, and it's like, yeah, and I interact with, you know,
Yeah,
with
just
friends
that
that
I
I,
just
you
put
know,
an addition
interact
on
with
the
and
house.
stuff, but it's by no means, as much as we like to joke, it's not a commune or a cult or whatever,
Or icebreaker.
yeah, it's like, yeah, that's all my like bosses make, you know, that's like the joke, it's like, all right,
Well,
so
your
is
dad
your
would be
cult
so
doing something? Like, you
Okay,
know
I hope
me.
so.
Yeah.
It's like, no, actually, I have my own
Okay,
house, I mean,
okay.
brand new house, you know.
Have,
Not in this economy. Yeah.
Or
Okay.
rent an apartment.
I'm also like, okay.
Okay.
Just tell
Or
me this,
rent
give me
that
straight
trailer
honest
outside
feedback.
the
If this is
property.
Right.
like all like just say
Yeah,
like,
because people get away with it and then they hear about somebody and then
Yeah,
they pick
because
on
the
them.
neighbor never figured out the landscape, got someone live with you.
how to optimize for a lot of different factors.
They're right here.
So who complained about you guys? What happened?
I don't think we really have a language around finance to actually
Okay, I'm sorry.
characterize
So-
the
You don't have to
situation
tell me.
like well.
We
You know what I mean? I
started
mean,
getting back
examples
to
like,
first one we had, they came up here.
I don't really
the
view-
township administrator,
like-
you know, who was doing Shrew's job.
I'm so tired.
That's okay.
We
have time.
But like, there's a word for like, oh, I remember one investor said, how, like, a house is not a place to be built. I thought that was really interesting.
Yeah, it's a
Yeah,
place to
it's
live, not
yeah.
just an investment. Yeah, yeah.
Well, I think what
At
he was
that
saying
point, we had
is that
several
it is not,
discussions
you're not gonna
with
get much
this,
return
with
if you
the
actually
administrators.
If you think about maintenance and all the stuff.
By the end of.
So I was like, okay, so I really want to break down to the
We
numbers.
had come to
And,
an agreement with them,
um,
sent the planning commission.
I think that was true for a long
And
time.
asked for some
I
kind
think that was true
of
for
waiver
uh,
to allow us to have this
a long time,
multi-family
maybe 40 years ago.
developed down there.
But recently, it actually
I
is
just-
kind of an investment tool, or at least a way to save money. It's like a, because I did like this really hardcore comparison between renting and owning. And I factor all that stuff in.
Yeah,
And
I'm
it
just
always
thinking
came out
about it,
ahead.
right? She's been
Even if
texting me.
you put it, even if you invested all that money in the stock
I'm not
market, like
mentioning
this
it
is
at all.
from having a lower monthly, actually renting is not that much lower than what.
Yeah.
So, but if you took that actually and invested it, it doesn't make a
Send it right now.
difference for how much money you could save and therefore invest later if you own it. But nobody's talking about this stuff. Like nobody's breaking down stuff. And I'm just like, for me it was a revelation. Because I was like, I feel really empowered now to actually make different decisions about it's so boring. Like people are like, you know, whatever.
No, I
But I think
mean, I
it's
see
important.
like YouTube channels that talk about stuff like, you know, of that sort, that get millions of views, so I think there's definitely, yeah. I think it's also probably, like, at least for the younger generations, homeowning for so many people just seems so, like, much like a pipe dream, so they're probably like, well, I don't even know,
Okay.
or like,
And then
why
you can
bother
tell me more
learning all the
later.
details of
I
my
do want to
home.
hear your story.
Yeah, but it's important,
But
like,
I
yeah.
wanted to like put
That's
like,
pretty much the
I
story.
wanted to quantify
Administration
that.
should-
Yeah,
Like,
yeah.
What do the numbers say there?
Well,
And basically,
we have planned
it's
for
correct.
that.
You know, but it's like, it's still interesting.
You're screwed, but.
Yeah.
It's got senior member of my
face
That may be
preservation.
generally true with all these data
Special
centers, for
use.
instance, in Saline. Can you imagine someone who's been living in Saline for years? Have a great night.
Oh,
Oh, okay.
Cool areas, more.
Living in Saline all these years, and their home values are sure dropped precipitously with
So we
data center
said
coming
that.
in. But I think the main thing, and this is not me pushing back, you know, at all or anything, but just for me as a young person, you know, I'm already living still with my parents. I just turned 25. I'm still living with my parents. And that's been the only way I've been able to pay off my college debt and get some savings stored up.
That's fantastic.
Yeah, no, it is, and I'm so grateful. And it also makes me think about how are people my age living? Because here's the thing, even with that, I make $50,000 a year, but that's before taxes, right? So after taxes, that's, maybe they're not supposed to like say we can, I'm sorry, I'm not good. You know, but, and so, but after taxes, it's like 41,000, right? So do you, like, I will have to save for years before I can even make a down payment on a house that's like even $250,000 before fees, right? Right now, so that's the thing is that I can't even make that investment for years. Like I can't even make that down payment. And especially if it's like, okay, well then maybe you can live in some like, I don't know, really crappy part of town, get something, like I could probably, doing the math, you know, for like low mortgages and whatever, it's like, all right, maybe in like a year or so I could buy a house that's like $130,000, get a 30-year mortgage, that kind of thing. Where on earth, you know, can you do that? And would you want to do that? I mean, especially it's like a single woman or something, like, right, and then you're gonna be Flint. Right, exactly, like that, so that's not an investment strategy, you know? And I know you're not saying that, I'm just, you know, so it's kind of like this thing where it's like, yeah, I want so badly to be a homeowner, but I'm gonna have to wait for so long, you know, because I completely, that, you know, with rent being almost as high as mortgage, in some cases the same price, it's like, yeah, like I would want to make that investment even if it feels risky, but I'm gonna have to wait for so long.
Well, what's really interesting about, I mean, not interesting, it's hard, I understand. I don't mean to make light.
Don't worry, you're not coming off that. We have dark humor.
I think we're learning how important, you know, housing is, like, now.
Who would have thought?
Because it just wasn't really on people's radar for so long because it was so accessible. I mean, don't get me wrong, it's never been easy for anyone, but it was at least accessible for a while. And so, like, really putting numbers down in spreadsheets and making some calculations, I mean, what it revealed to me was that we really have to, like, come together and get organized and, like, do these types of intentional communities. Because what I realized in my search was I really value community of people that, like, I kind of align with, you know, and, like, not completely in a bubble, but come on, we're all in bubbles. You know what I mean? Bubbles are nice.
We tend to flock to birds of the same feather.
It's okay, the bubbles are not as bad as, you know, people have said they are. Bubbles are okay. As long as we're not, like, fighting bubbles, you know, too much. But, like, so yeah, that's where the intentional community comes in. I would highly recommend it, especially if you're already doing it. I mean, you already have, in that way, you're already ahead of the game, I think.
Yeah, I mean, I feel very blessed because it's like, it's just like, oh, well, it's just someone I know, and then her husband's starting this, and it's like, oh, I'm friends with her, so, you know, but it's just like...
You're a recent college grad, and this all started, right?
Yeah, I recently graduated college back in, I graduated in 2019. But yeah, and it is nice just like, obviously having people around good for like, you know, community and mental health and friendship, but it is like nice to have, you know, people that you can rely on in a pinch or something, or even just like, hey, I ran out of, you know, sugar. Like somebody have it, oh yeah, you can use some of mine. Just walk in the door and go get it from the cabinet, you know, like, it's like, yeah, you know, or just like, hey, does anybody know, you know, I'm looking for this type of thing, or like this type of doctor, or whatever, does anyone have suggestions? And just an easy way to like, people you know, be like, oh yeah, here, like, I'll watch your kids really quick, or like, I mean, not that I have kids, but like, you know, like, you know, at this point, like, yeah, it's like my one friend, one of her daughters, a 3-year-old, loves our house so much, so we'll just hear her feet on the porch and a little knock.
At first
and
she
just
would,
top
first she
of her
would
head.
break in, then she'd hear top knock.
Be like, no, you know, and she just loves our house, because, you know, it's like, oh yeah, like her mom's come over a lot, and she's like, oh, so we're like, okay, you can come in, and she does, like, has to do all the things that she always does, and then it becomes like a routine, and she has to do it, we're like, okay.
She should pay rent at this point.
Yeah, I'm gonna start doing chores. Yeah. No, but it's nice, it's like, yeah, like, you know, I'm still like single, I don't, you know, have a spouse or kids or anything, but it's like, well, I have friends around, and, you know, I have my friends' kids that I can be like the aunt to.
It's good for generations to, if not live together, and everyone has separate life circumstances, et cetera, but like I think that's a good dynamic, and it's a very healthy dynamic to have, and it can be very helpful, you know.
We're like the multi-generational.
Right,
Yeah.
right. Yeah, I'll go over and visit the kids sometimes. I'm their friend now.
You bribe them with candy.
I don't
and
think
they're like,
it's tourists. Did you bring us anything? Not this time. Yeah.
If it's any consolation, you're dealing with it all in young age, whereas I wasted 20 years in academia. So
Wasted.
you are way ahead of me. Way ahead of me. I was operating with bad information, or just outdated information. You know. So
yeah, I mean, things change quickly. I think things just keep changing.
yeah.
What did you get your degree in?
Oh, I don't say.
Okay. That bad, huh?
You have to tell us now.
No, I'm not going to do it.
Okay, all right.
Multi-level marketing. Yeah, I'm just gonna make something up in my head then.
Yeah, that's true. That's true. It's still better, I think. But yeah, it's oh my goodness, it's been quite a journey.
Yeah, I mean, everyone's roads are different. I think that's one of the silver linings I've seen with, you know, people in my generation or younger, because I'm, you know, like technically a millennial, but I feel like there's not like necessarily hard delineations between the, you know, generations and stuff. But it's like, yeah, I think because the economy is so bad and more people like have to live with their parents and stuff, where it's like that used to be like a big stigma, like only
Alternative ways of living are becoming less stigmatized.
right, but also just people feeling like because of that type of thing, it's like, well, I'm not meeting the kind of arbitrary deadlines of what my life is supposed to be. Like, well, you should, you know, be married by then and like have kids by then. Yeah, and it's like, yeah, oh, it's, yeah. No arranged marriage. Yeah. No, but it's like, yeah, I think people are realizing, like, because they just can't, it's like, okay, maybe the timeline isn't, like, set in stone, you know, maybe, like, you know, I can start this in my life later, or do this, you know, it doesn't have to be, like, you do this then, and then you do this.
Well, I mean, like, look at Uncle Darren and Aunt Marty.
Oh, yeah.
Like, they had such an ideal, like, I love him so, you know, he's,
Like, his 50s.
yeah, and she was like late 30s or something, you know, so it's like, oh, well, that's, like, you know, they both waited a long time and found each other, but they have like the most, two adorable little girls who live in Kalamazoo. You know, it feels, basically it's like, I guess my point is that like, now I think we do have a lot of examples of unconventional, I guess, historic, or, you know,
Getting married right out of high school.
right, they're unconventional, realizing, okay, like, it's not, all is not lost, you know, if I don't follow this track. But
So it's okay if you spent time in academia.
I appreciate that.
Yeah. Okay.
It's yeah. I think it's like nobody wants to regret anything, but I regret that.
I'm sorry.
But it's okay. I mean, I learned a lot.
Yeah, I feel like there's always, even if it's not like great, there's always silver linings to things that are otherwise not maybe the most ideal decision.
oversight. Jeez, that takes a while.
Well, yeah.
Really?
Speaking of, I probably should.
You guys all starting to look at the clock.
Fair point. And I know I'm gonna be disappointed in what they say.
She did.
Curious to know what she says.
I did not eat dinner.
I was telling her, like, you should come.
So I was going to, and then I'm like, it's just a comment, like, I'm not gonna make a comment. Show up.
Yeah.
Well, I was hoping we were all like storming the castle today.
Well, that kind of happened with the the animal thing
Oh, yeah.
last year, whatever, and it,
I know, and that's why I haven't been around since then, because I was just so
I'm still pretty sure.
disappointed.
it's like, well, nobody expresses their stuff at local meetings or whatever. Like, how are we supposed to know? It's like, okay, it's fair. So then people show up, and it's like, we're expressing
We
ourselves.
should make our own unofficial township board. I think the people in this room could do a better job.
But the lack of understanding among the public, like, I don't even know that they got what they were voting for and who they were voting for.
No, I mean, I think,
And-
unfortunately, yeah, people don't pay attention to the smaller stuff most of the time.
You know, and then even just reading the comments and Facebook posts that announce this, it's like, where have you people been? I mean, seriously.
I just think the majority of people in the township just aren't. I mean, and I would probably not be as informed if it wasn't directly impacting the people I know, you know? It's
Yeah,
like-
especially with everything going on at the national level, just since
Yeah,
forever, I guess. But like ever since COVID even, it's like everything, there's just headline after headline after headline after headline, you know, and yeah, it's like, it's almost how do you even pay attention, you know?
It's just really a bummer that this is where we're at.
Yeah.
But honestly, I mean, meeting you guys was great.
For real.
Like they're like, I
still people.
you know, like, it's like, I doubt we like, it's like, oh, we all look the same way, and we're doing everything the same, but I think we're all good people, and we, you know,
We'll need to negotiate.
yeah, and it's very intelligent, good people who are, honestly, like, everyone here would make
You said we presented erroneous facts.
From what I hear about your reporting.
Yeah. Yeah, but I should,
Like I said, I have an early morning tomorrow.
I feel bad.
Well, there will be online updates, is that right, or does anybody know?
They will have to post the minutes from the meeting, which will be very bare. They have to keep minutes for their private session, but they don't have to post them publicly while litigation is ongoing. There will be a video of it online.
Is that gonna go on the YouTube channel?
Oh,
Yeah,
It's all the local public meetings if you want some around.
if you wanna do, you know, your night job after your day job of watching public meetings.
Hey, you masochist?
Yeah. I think she can get angry enough to understand.
my job, you're like, I'm gonna come so I can glare at all of them.
Nice to meet you. Yeah, nice to meet you. Good luck in the garden.
You meet Jason
Yeah, so nice to meet you, Peter. Awesome.
Good to see you,
and
Peter.
Catherine.
Yes.
Zia.
You too.
And
Therese.
Therese.
Yeah. French, no, French.
Probably.
Alright.
Yeah, I mean, if you, or, well, sorry, but if you find like some reading on it, or
Just like,
Oh,
are you on the Facebook page?
person.
Oh,
Maybe.
Maybe some maybe.
yeah, I Facebook Catherine.
They probably won't hear much of what we're talking about like this.
Yeah, I'm not like, I really don't go on Facebook much, but I use Messenger a lot, so it's like, you know, the Messenger
I
app.
can
is
do a
my
peek
phone.
through and just remove the audio.
You can check the Webster Township page every so often. Usually though, it's just a bunch of AI slop and retweet. Go on and then I'm like, well, that ruined 2 minutes already.
Yeah.
I feel the radiation.
Yeah, well, I'm on social media, but you Google me, my articles will come up. You know, whatever, like, that doesn't, you know, I'm not saying you have to, I'm just, I
That's
don't
kind of
know.
where I came, I wanted to go community.
Yeah, well, and I'll try, you know, I'll focus, you let me know about stuff, so, yeah, I'll probably bump into you again.
Cool. Yeah, I think, I don't know, actually,
supervisor in the election. I ran for treasurer.
Oh,
So I don't know, I mean, it's, there's much publication.
Yeah,
Like,
I
Facebook
one of
on
these
Facebook.
or on one of these.
I mean, but I mean,
Do they usually
I've
get
been to
this
the
long?
festivals.
yeah.
Part of it's like, yeah, maybe we can.
They're really waiting for us to leave?
I
don't know.
Yeah. They're like, oh, that person looks familiar.
They've only started doing this
Maybe
this
not.
way.
You know, like,
Okay.
But so you say you live by North Territory?
John Kingsley, I don't think, I think he took the board into closed
Oh,
session.
really?
I live on.
Really?
I think they were.
Yeah.
I guess, yeah, so.
It was in the last year or so.
Yeah.
So it's right in spring. Wow.
So it's like,
Well,
yeah.
They have a
yeah.
right to go into closed session to discuss litigation, they just can't make any decisions back there or talk.
Not the big barn, so everyone, I think it all used to be a bigger property back when it was like a girls' sports barn in the seventies.
It's also.
So people see the big barn that says cotton, and they're like, oh, it's like, no, that's actually, other side of the road is a separate property, so that's not.
And that's a whole separate story, so don't come back.
A whole separate issue with the previous owner of that.
Come on.
Yeah.
Good night.
Have a good night, guys.
Thank you for staying. Sir, I don't think I've gotten your name either.
Oh, Brian Lane.
Brian, right?
Yep.
What brought you up tonight?
I saw that, I'm not sure. I saw the announcement.
See what's happening,
Yeah.
take a listen.
Well, I lived in this area since 1971, so I knew my mass.
Okay.
I used to watch this place all turned houses.
Yeah, what do you think of the development, or, I guess the.
No, I started out
over there.
Plymouth too when it was all farms, so I was there before and it's all Canton. That was before Canton was there, so this is, there's nothing to do about it.
Sure, just kinda have to see what they decide.
I mean, you can't make any money, there's no farms left. There used to be a dozen dairy farms around here, now there's none.
Oh, there's at least one out there, farmer.
Oh, yeah, well, I mean, I'm talking like large, like.
Oh, big, like
Yeah,
Culver's
we
and
used to do
such.
100, we
Yeah.
used to do 150 down here, which is nothing now. I think, who's Brandon, I think he was up over, he was around 200, he just, he went out a couple years ago.
Okay. Do you know, the O'Donnells or Ruth Lehman? You know, those names sound familiar? I just,
Most of the farms I knew around here were dead now. so.
okay. Well, we had our farm over there off of Jennings.
My name is Laura Fawcett. Nice to meet you. Yeah. On Gleason Drive, which is the north end of Scully Road. So the part that is like the dead end area, there's a little cul-de-sac off of that over there, so that's where I live. And I was following the whole like,
Yeah, we've had our farm,
farm animals, things
Going on 40 years,
and
we've been-
whatnot, and
and we've been running
was
our.
coming on a pretty
fair
regular
share of
basis,
it.
and then was just thoroughly discouraged by the results of the
Buy a
election.
part of the house, you can buy it raw milk.
You know, and I had
Well,
hoped
that's
that
the-
there might
You
be
can't sell raw
enough
milk, but you can.
fresh blood on here to stop some of this crap, but
Yeah, and that's just the way the law is written in Michigan, they have to do a herdship
I
program
know, I
instead of
thought the
directly
chicken thing
selling
was
raw milk.
stupid. Yes, I was like, are you serious?
Sure.
We're figuring out some kind of
All of
chickens.
them.
Yeah.
And I felt so bad that that lady had to get rid of them.
Yeah.
And she had had them
So
for so
where do you
long.
live?
And I know that chickens that come
Right by the
in
lawn
these
farm.
pots, it's
Oh, right
just
about.
chicken and,
Okay, be your neighbor.
Yeah.
Or I
you
guess
know,
you
I'm
know
still
Bob.
learning
Oh, yeah,
about
Bob.
what's going on over
Okay.
here, but
Long time.
like the M Life story I read,
71.
I was like, this
He was
is
there already.
Well, and, I
Yeah,
mean, it's
I know
basically
Rob for
resolved,
a
like,
long
it seems
time,
like
too.
they're going to be
We've
protecting
been doing
the right
like
to,
the
farm
farm
house,
festival where we're drinking.
yeah,
alcohol.
right, and so now,
Have you
what
ever
is
been over there
this
for that?
about?
Well, I mean, Lon was right across the street from me.
I guess, yeah.
Been in my
like,
yard.
come see
Been in my
it.
yard.
Yes, I am,
Like,
yeah,
come see what the fall does.
Yeah, I can see him right there.
okay,
it's so, it's 20 pages long. I couldn't even read it all before I got it.
yeah,
Like,
You ever
it's
heard
not
the,
much to touch a page.
I read it,
Next Monday.
Oh, you did?
I may
Oh,
have
yeah,
posted
right
it,
across.
but don't let that, but what, yeah, I don't understand.
Oh,
What it shows
I
is
should've made
the
that
conflict
connection.
of interest that so many people, if you, the names on there, the people that were complaining and had a problem with what was going on, the treasurer, he's the primary complainer when it comes to They just.
Yeah,
Yes.
probably more than your fair share.
Oh, yeah.
And the historical society wants the property, like that's valid too. That comes up in all of that too. And, even there's a gentleman on the.
Start out with the first thing, the first,
Problems with their
that's
cow
been
and calling
added
it
on to.
the society on it. So the list of these
Yeah, they
that
comes by
have
real regularly.
problems with
If I
the farm are all people that are hanging around this office, you know?
It's getting full.
Yeah, there's a pretty good group of us now that come by and hang out on Mondays. Chad, we just did some,
And there is another one that I knew it. I
And
knew there was
training with
another
the
reason.
next
And
fire
that's why
department.
there's some kind of get out there.
Yeah.
Well, it is. But don't, you didn't hear that from me.
You guys are impressive.
I would move to return to open session at 8:27 p.m.
Support. Okay, any discussion? Okay, roll call, Jeff. Aye.
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 Okay.
I will make a motion. I move to pursue negotiations and seek a stay in both Webster Township versus Morningstar Ventures LLC, number 23B000008, OM, pending in the 14A-3 District Court for the County of Washtenaw and Webster Township versus Morningstar Ventures LLC, number 26-000065-CZ, pending in Washington County Circuit Court.
I will second.
Okay, any further discussion? Okay, roll call, Dan.
Aye.
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 Okay, thank you. Call to public.
Peter Stevens, 7500 Trotters Lane. I'm not exactly sure what requesting a stay in both of these cases means, but if it in fact means that you are looking to do some kind of settlement and end this litigation against Cottonwood, I support the board and thank you very much for moving in this direction. Thank you.
Thank you, Peter. Anyone else?
Can I talk about the road commission?
Yes.
You can
Of
talk
course you
about
can.
anything you want for 3 minutes.
Alright, Sheila Pokaski, North Territorial. So I went and checked out this $500,000 project culvert Zeeb Road thing yesterday, and I think it's a little over the top. They talked about a flow problem with the water in the creek, and there's so much garbage in the creek. Maybe if we just clean that up, it would flow better. There's also a lot of sticks and twigs and debris that could be cleaned up as well to make it flow better. But they have cut down a lot of trees. And there's just, you know, a few trees that are 30 inches or more. A lot of littler trees, which, okay, but I don't understand why they need to cut trees that longer than this building when the culvert is only, I don't know, this wide. The creek is only that wide, but they gotta clear an area like hundreds of feet. It's ridiculous. I think their projects are ridiculous. And they're cutting all these trees down that would naturally drink the water and keep the creek from overflowing. And instead, they're destroying all that, and it's just going to create more problems. Looks like they're creating a ditch from North Territorial, so all that road runoff can drain into Arms Creek and then pollute our waterways. All that stuff then goes into the Huron River. And you know, trees also filter out a lot of the pollutants out of the water. And now all those trees are gone. So I would like you to consider, when you give money to the road commission on these projects, I think sometimes they're just a little over the top, and I wish we would look at more natural alternatives. And if you get a chance, please drive by tomorrow, because it's important to see the stumps before they grind them and destroy all the evidence. Thank you.
Thank you. Anyone else? Okay. Concerns of board members?
I'm gonna go on a drive on Sea Road tomorrow.
No, where exactly are we?
They're doing timber work, and I think they announced it as possibly as much as a 12-day job, but this is not one of the jobs that we asked them to do. This is just their normal.
Is this north of Territorial or south of Territorial?
Whereabouts?
South of Territorial, it's like really close to Territorial.
Okay. Thank you, Sheila.
Okay, not hearing anything else? A motion to adjourn, please.
Move to adjourn.
I'll support.
Okay, discussion. All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Okay, we're adjourned. Thank you.